rifles inward. Global corporate power depends on armies to protect it, jails to silence dissent, and violence to pave the way for its expansion. National repression is the necessary premise for corporate globalization. Every country, every city, every house, every person, everything is a battleground.
Without being charged, and we were being detained here without being charged, and we'd like to speak with our lawyer. We are citizens with voices, and we'd like our voices to be heard. Our constitutional rights have been suspended today.
We had decided on the buses and prior to that in our own affinity groups that, if we were to get arrested, we would not give our name, we would not cooperate in any way, we would not be separated. We would all ask for and make the same demands, which were immediate release, all charges to be dropped.
We are not getting off the bus until we have a meeting with our lawyer on the bus.
It's okay, they won't take you, stay on the bus.
There were about 4 other buses that were parked beside us, so trying to figure out what to do. We were posting messages up against the wall, shouting at each other, trying to pass on messages through the attorneys to figure out what was going on.
So after 14 hours, they decided it was time for us to go. We were told that we'd be moved to King County, so the bus started to move, and we weren't taken to King County. We were taken out of the view of the media. We were taken around the back of Sandpoint, and then we were unloaded. The cops, the riot gear, got on, pepper sprayed a few people from the front of the bus. We do something like that on the bus, it goes throughout the bus, and everybody gets it. So at that point, we were forcibly taken off of the buses and taken into Sandpoint, and some of us were taken to King County.
What's the democracy looks like? This is what democracy looks like.
People had a strategy about how they were going to deal. They were going to stick together in jail and not let anyone be separated or isolated or intimidated or punished or threatened, and that really worked.
Our director of organizing was one of those arrested. So that's the wrong person you want to get into a jail cell with a bunch of other folks, because he's going to organize the people on the inside. So that's what happened, was that people started organizing on the inside. There was solidarity actions going on, chanting. What was going on outside to show support for them was also happening on the inside.
It was incredibly moving to hear that 6,000 people had come and sat down and locked down for it so we could see our attorneys.
I was told by the ILWU to deliver the message that if this wasn't resolved, that the ILWU was willing to shut down the ports in solidarity.
It was an obligation for us to be out there. We had to be there. It was our role to be there.
It created a sense of community because that was where the steelworkers and the other unions were bringing food and blankets and water and taking care of people, and people were just taking care of people in what seemed to be the most natural way for human beings to function, but which we had never really seen before.
And then to hear also from the legal team that people in Cuba and Amsterdam and London and Africa and Mexico were rallying for our release was also quite amazing.
That first night, everyone was out there so late, and then they had that spokesperson council, and they had the people talking on the bullhorn, repeat after me, this is what is going on. But what was amazing was that we did make a plan through this whole consensus model with a couple hundred people there. I had never seen anything like that before in my life, and I think that for me that was a turning point. Because I started to look at people around me differently.
I think the whole jail experience really brought a lot of people together, because at that point it became very personal.
It was a good experience to be there in jail, to recognize that, hey, no matter where these people are coming from, right, they decided that they had enough and that they're willing to lay whatever they had at that point, which was their body down for the cause. And to be with a group of people, no matter where you were coming from, was a very powerful thing.
The other thing I have to do tonight, tell you some bad news. And I want your promise that you will stay sitting down. Hold your neighbor's hands. Stay that way while I tell you. Stay that way afterwards. Even though you may feel upset. Can you do that for me? Okay, here's the news. Some of the other lawyers and activists on the legal team. And I went inside the jail today. And we talked to some of the folks who've been in there. And some people have been beaten. And some people were pepper sprayed at standpoint. We can't let them stay in there. We need to get our people out.
Each of us came to Seattle for different reasons. Some of us out of desperation as much as out of hope. Some of us came with causes we have worked for our whole lives. Some came for reasons we cannot yet articulate. When we filled the streets of Seattle, there was a power in our bodies that we didn't know we had. In this city, for this moment, our lives were our own. Who can say at what precise location and at what exact hour and date this global movement began? In Seattle, we were only a small part of the movement, but in the gas and bullets, our memory returned. For a moment, our history was made clear to us. We felt the edges of our skin marked by a global and historical struggle. We stopped waiting for our world to be legislated or prescribed to us. This time, we did not ask for permission to be free.
We had to do more than just give lip service to this coalition building. If we're going to mount an effective response to the events of the week and really coordinate an effective rally on Friday, we had to get out there and walk the talk.
We're going to do this, right? Let's just be perfectly clear. We're going to march back into that no protest zone. The question that the mayor and the chief of police had to ask is, do they want to confront us?
ratio went against too many people.